Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Rebelle Report. I am coming to you this time after a nice, long, beautiful Kundalini meditation that I did this morning at a way too early hour, but it was beautiful. It was worth it. At 5:45, we were on the beach, a bunch of us. Because it's Yogi Bhajan, who's the guy who brought Kundalini over to the US. It's his birthday. It's a big Kundalini holiday. Anyway, so we were doing a really beautiful 62-minute meditation after some vinyasa. And I came back home and, we swam in the ocean after, which was really nice. And came back home and the first thing that pops out in front of me is the news about the red tide. And so I want to talk a little bit about our respect and our reverence of the feminine and how it relates to environmentalism, really. So my friend first told me about this, the red tide, and I guess the red tide itself is something that is a pretty normal phenomenon that happens every year. I don't know the details, but from what I read from the articles, it seems to be a thing that happens like in more of the springtime, and I think it's just like a current that runs through, but what's happening with a bunch of seaweed and what's happening is that or algae to be specific, and this year there's been some really toxic algae that has been swimming around, and so as a result there's been so many deaths of different animals in the sea. It was really, really sad to watch. And it's sad because, yeah, sure, death is a normal part of the life cycle, but these deaths are not part of the normal cycle. These deaths are coming from a place of, first word that came to mind was obnoxiousness, to be honest. But I think there's another word that I'm looking for that wants to come through. There is this entitlement. I think that's really what it is. There's an entitlement that we have as humans that somehow we are better, and that our need to manufacture, our need to fertilize, our need to efficientize, I'm just making up words now, to just make everything more efficient and more, just like we're generating stuff. And as a result, there's complete and utter disrespect for nature. And it just amazes me because the only way, so we're coming out of this like really long time period where the feminine was not valued, the feminine wasn't revered. And by the feminine, I mean like, everything that is about oneness and I'm like having a debate in my head about this, because I'm like, well, oneness is also masculine. So here you get to watch me in real time think about this. And that's what I want to do here, is like, I'm just thinking about this and speaking to it as it's coming through me. So there's this holistic view. This is what it is. This is really what it is. The feminine is very much about looking at looking at the whole system, looking at the interwovenness of all of it, right? Masculine energy is a little bit more, the masculine perspective is very individualistic instead of group mindedness and collective mindedness. It's a lot more, it's me, and then there's everything else. And capitalism, which is a byproduct of the reverence of this type of mindset of it's me and everyone else. what capitalism does is it's just the same thing, right? Except it's like my company and I want to get profit, and however I'm going to get profit is fine. It doesn't matter what the environmental consequences are. It doesn't matter what the, you know, the social impact is. Like, it just doesn't matter because the bottom line is what matters, right? And so here we are after so many years of functioning and allowing for this type of behavior, for this type of mindset, for this philosophy to be okay. And now we have, like, you know, seals and sea lions and a gajillion fish just like flowing up to the shore dead, you know? And to me, this is obnoxious. It's obnoxious because there is this assumption that as humans we are not part of nature. It's this otherness that has continued to create these sort of things. It's this feeling of who cares about everything else as long as we thrive. And this assumption is so wrong even for selfish reasons, because if you want the human species to keep going, guys, we have to respect where we came from. We have to respect the web that we are naturally woven into. You can't just go, I don't care about the rest of, like, the cycle of life and all the other, like, animals and the environments out there. You can't just go, I don't care because I live in Manhattan. Who cares about all the other stuff, right? It doesn't work that way. But there's this disconnection and this otherness, this separation that continues to keep this going. And so, I'm trying to think where I'm going with this. I think here's what's coming through. What's most important, whether it's in environmentalism, right? Respect. So here's what I see. I see this disrespect as, like, just a continuation of the disrespect of the feminine, of the devaluation of feminine, of the devaluation of collective and group consciousness, like of a sort of like putting to the side all the really old school ways of doing things, where we did things, where we kept in mind all our brothers and sisters, when we kept in mind all of the animals around us, the environment, the trees, everything, right? Where there was just so much reverence of the fact that it's the same way that, you know, if you love yourself and respect yourself, you would just, an extension of that is nature, because we are nature. And so for us to be walking around to complete disregard is a disregard for ourselves, which is sort of where we're coming to in a lot of ways in humanity. And so this is a reclamation of our own integrity, our own self-respect, our own self-love, because we are nature. And we have to come back to this place of understanding that there is no separation. And this is the case with environmentalism, with the love for Pachamama, for Mother Earth, for the land around us. But it's also in regards to everything that's not working for us. Bigotry, discrimination, racism, white supremacy, just complete, utter disregard for other humans who just live life a different way, whether it's a gender preference, whether it's a sexual preference, whether it's a pet preference, like what, are you a dog or a cat person? It doesn't matter, right? It's finding the oneness. So that's what I'm here to speak to today, is this invitation to find the places that you are still separating yourself from everything around you.